Today we're going to finish up section 2 of chapter 2, and we're going to be solving percent problems. So we're going to be working with one specific formula throughout the examples. So first of all, we need to come back and make sure that we recognize what the word percent means. So percent means per 100. So 5% is 5 per 100. So we're just going to go through some examples here and make sure that we can move between a percent, a fraction, and a decimal. So if I give you 8%, how would that look as a fraction? 8%. So that would be 8 over 100, and then we would reduce it, so it would end up being 2 over 25. And then as a decimal, 8% would be 0.08. So we always move the decimal point 2 spots. Okay, then if I'm given the fraction, let's say 33 over 100, I need to be able to convert that to a decimal and also as a percent. So 33 over 100 would be 0.33. And then as a percent, it would be 33%. And then last, if I give you the decimal point, let's say 65, then I need to go from a decimal to a fraction to a percent. Well, that would be 65%. And then I would write that as 65 over 100. And then that would reduce. Those are both divisible by 5, so it would be 13 over 20. Okay, so that was just a review. This is getting into what we're actually going to be working on. So this is the formula. Definitely need to write this down. We've got percent equals part over whole. Percent equals part over whole. So that's the formula we're going to be using for the rest of this section here. Just make sure that you know that part goes on top and whole goes on the bottom. So the example down below, we're not going to actually solve it, but this is what it might look like. So if it says, if a class of 15 students has 4 males, what percent of the students are males? So my whole number would be 15, and my partial amount would be 4, and then we are solving for the percent. So that is how we would get that answer. Okay, first example, it says a mixture of gasoline and oil contains 20 ounces, of which 1 ounce is oil. What percent of the mixture is oil? What percent of the mixture is gasoline? So there's actually 2 parts to this question. When you're doing this section, you need to make sure that you're reading all the different parts and making sure that you're providing all the answers that they're asking for. So in both questions, we're solving for percent. So we know that that is going to be where my variable is, off to the left where the percent part of the problem is. Now, if we're solving for oil, what is my total or my whole amount of ounces that I have available? Well, that would be 20. And it says 1 ounce of that is oil, so it's going to be 1 over 20. So x equals 1 over 20. I need to solve that. So when we're dealing with percents and things like that, we need to convert them to a decimal and then to a percentage. So 1 over 20, you would put that in your calculator. It gives you 0.05. And it's asking for a percent, so I need to convert that to a percent. So I'm going to move my decimal point 2 spots. And that means 5% of the mixture is oil. And then I need to make sure that I label my answer. Okay, and then, so that was part 1. Part 2, I need to find the percentage that is gasoline. So we can kind of logically go through this. Since 5% of it is oil, that means that my answer should be 95%, but I need to make sure that I show my work. So x equals, again, we're solving for percent. My whole number doesn't change, that's 20. But what would be my partial amount for gasoline? Well, I already used 1 ounce, so 20 minus 1, that means that there should be 19 left that are gas. So I'm going to plug that into my calculator. It should be 0.95, and it is. Move my decimal point, and 95% gas. And then make sure that I put a box or circle around my answer. Okay, next one. It says an automobile salesman earns 8% commission on every car he sells. How much does he earn on a car that sells for $12,000? So I'm given percent here. So I know that I need to put that here. And am I solving for a partial amount or a whole amount? Well, it says that the car sells for $12,000, so that would be my whole amount, which means I'm solving for the part. Now, notice that I plugged in 8% here. If you don't have a calculator that has a percent button, then you need to change that to be a decimal. So I need to move that over 2 spots and make that 0.08. So this is the formula I'm going to work off of. Now I'm solving for x, but x is on the top of the fraction, so that means I need to move that 12,000 over to the other side. And I'm going to do that by multiplying. So that crosses out, I'm just left with x. And then in my calculator, I need to do 0.08 times 12,000, and that is 960. Now, just like the last example, my answer needs to be labeled. What does 960 represent? Well, it represents the amount of money that he earned, so I need to have a dollar sign out front. So since his commission is 8%, he sold a $12,000 car. He personally is going to make $960 off of that sale. All right, next example. It says the pie chart below shows the results of a survey of 500 people. And we've got a chart here, and this is dealing with pie preferences. It says how many people prefer cherry pie. So I've got to go over to my chart, see the percentage that I'm given. So that would be 23%. I want to know how many people like just cherry, so that would be my partial amount, and my total amount is 500 people. So again, just like the last time, my variable is up top, so I need to multiply both sides by 500. So 500 times 0.23 equals 115. And what's my unit of measurement? Well, we're talking about people. So 115 out of the 500 people like cherry pie. Next one is pumpkin. So I need to go over to my pie chart and see the percentage, and that is 30%. So that means I need to convert that to a decimal, so 0.30. Still solving for partial amount, and my whole amount is still 500. So just like the last problem, multiply both sides by 500. So 0.30 times 500 equals 150. And again, we're talking about people. So 150 out of the 500 people prefer pumpkin pie. Okay, your homework is examples from the book. You're going to need to make sure that you're using the right formula that they give you, make sure that you're plugging into the right part of the percent equals part over whole formula.